Renee Bays, Rakim, John, 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 Renee Bays.
Hello, everybody. I forgot to say that last week, so I have to say it now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Podcast of Color.
Color.
What? I realized that that's Australian, and then like
it's fine.
Is British.
It's fine. It's
no,
fine.
I know. I'm just making an observation. Like I'm a polyglot. Like I can do multiple accents at one time.
Wait,
like,
what's it called?
A polyglot. That's actually not what that is. It means someone who can speak more than like 4 languages or whatever. But I can do more than 4 accents.
Same thing.
Yeah, whatever. You say tomato, I say tomato. So welcome to welcome to Podcast of Color, where 4 trash bags come together to make sense of the world. I am Rakim.
I am Baze.
I'm John.
I'm Renee.
Welcome to the show. Jonathan.
Yes.
Would you like to describe our question of color?
Question of color. Okay, so color.
Oh, Baze, that was like slave owner accent. You might want to ditch that.
I'm fine with that.
What is slave owner accent?
Don't.
Okay.
To quote the Queen, "Runaway slave, master."
No. Oh.
So moving forward,
yeah.
The question of color this week is, if we were in a mythical MMORPG, what would your character be, or who would you choose to be? Like,
wait, can you define MMORPG for people?
God damn it!
Uh-oh.
Role playing. I forgot. Please help me.
No one mask will ever come to talk to you ever again.
Like, wait, Baze, do you know?
I actually
You failed.
role playing game. I know
MMORPG.
RPG is role playing game. Oh, I don't know what that is.
So
That's
it's
a lot.
multi something, right?
It's massive multiplayer online role playing game.
Yes.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
I've never done that before.
I'm sure you have. Oh, my voice cracked.
Or I guess just in general. So like there's, like ogres and elves and I don't know, wizards. Well,
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
Oh
Oh
my.
my.
Lions and tigers and bears. Lions and tigers and bears.
Can I go first?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Cool.
Okay, I'm actually. Oh my
Can
god!
I
I'm
say
gonna
that
like.
Baze would be Dorothy? I feel like Baze would be Dorothy. But anyways, we can move
Of who? The Golden Girls?
No, from
Yes,
Wizard of
yes,
Oz.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Let's just move on.
Ooh, that's another question of color. Which golden?
I was like, why is the Golden Girls an MMORPG?
We'll do that next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually the answer I'm gonna give is okay. So I'm gonna out myself as a former Dungeons and Dragons player. And
Recovered.
What?
You're beautiful. Keep going.
Thank you. I know. My character was a half orc paladin. And his name was Grosh, and I had like a moon axe that could like instantly freeze something when you cut, or that it cut or sliced or whatever. And then I had like a warhammer that on the full moon I had like powers from the ice goddess or whatever, and like I could freeze shit. So that was my character. So that's who I would be. I would be like a paladin, which is like a holy knight. So I like dedicate myself to like a religion or something, and then I like fight for the cause. So mine was like I dedicated my life to the ice goddess.
So like a
Well.
mythical Hotep?
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
Did you just call me a nigger? Is that
no.
So Baze would also be Jew on the ring. Was that
What?
Baze or
What?
Rakim?
What?
I'm so confused.
I heard you on that beat. I was like,
I would be. I'm always like from Dragon Age to Skyrim. I'm always a mage because
Ooh.
they're like. I'm always a mage. Like I sometimes am like an elf, But like, I rarely am an elf because I'm black in real life, and they always like treat elves like black people in RPGs.
Yeah.
So I'm usually a mage. Sometimes, but in the most recent in not Skyrim, in Dragon Age, what the fuck is it called? Dragon Age Inquisition. I was a rogue, and I had 2 knives, and like I've always been like obsessed with like fighting with 2 knives because, like ever since like Elektra, I don't know why that movie was horrible, but like those like fighting scenes with the two knives was just awesome. And also like
Jenny Garner.
The Mummy 2 with like Rachel Weisz fighting, like I don't remember her name.
That was so sexy.
That
That was very male gazy, but it was so sexy.
I was like, I want to be them.
Do you know who? Have you ever played Final Fantasy X?
Nope, I've never played any of them.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna send you a picture afterwards of someone that fights with 2 knives and see what you think. She's like a thief
They're
too.
called Size, right?
Yeah.
The ones Elektra has are called Size. Yeah.
Renee, John.
You.
I would be Bjork.
Oh.
That would be, yeah. You know that last video she made? Like I would be like that, but with better music. That's who I would be. No, I think maybe this is the gayest answer ever, but are there like unicorns in this stuff?
No.
Oh.
You can't be a unicorn.
I can't be a unicorn?
Not with that attitude.
No,
okay,
it's just not an option usually to be a unicorn.
Well,
yeah, you can
in
have
my
them
game,
sometimes.
I would give the option to be a unicorn, and I would be the unicorn.
You could be like a warrior or like a thief or like a black mage, which is like offensive magic, and then there's like a white mage which heals people.
I would be a white mage that turns into a unicorn.
You know what? Fair. I'll give it to you. That's cool. That's sure. John.
Dang it. I was going to say mage too because they're always giving like hand performance, you know, when they're like casting
oh
spells.
my God.
Performance? I thought you were okay.
I thought he was going to say hand job too. I was
Same.
just like,
But you're also a healer. You're also very
Yeah.
much a healer.
Yeah, exactly.
well, that's healing in a way.
but
You also can fight from afar because, like, when the monsters come, like you usually send like the warriors to go fight them, and then you just like be throwing spells at them from afar.
throwing spells. I like that.
Yes.
Throwing spells.
Throwing else.
throwing spells.
We don't throw
Chuck-
shade; we throw spells.
But
Yes.
my
Yes.
other runner up was I'd like to be a centaur just because I think they're beautiful.
Did you like the one in Harry Potter?
Wait, isn't that one a bad guy? Was he
No.
No,
And
they're just
Wasn't there a
they're
unicorn
just-
in Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Voldemort killed it.
Yeah, but that wasn't the only one. That was just the only one in the first movie. In the
Yeah,
first
I
book.
remember he's just like, whoever kills a unicorn lives a half-life, a cursed life. Like, yes! Whoever would kill something so pure. I was like, oh shit, okay.
And then when he sees him, and he's like, my scar. I don't know. I just used to. His acting used to crack me up when his scar would hurt. Like,
His
he would just do it every time.
It's like when
When
you're getting
his
dicked
scarf-
for the first time and you're like,
no.
That's me.
It's
more
not
because
like that at all. But
His
you know,
acting
go
when his
off.
scar hurt sounded like Kendall Jenner when she found out about the Pepsi commercial. He
Oh.
was like, oh my god, oh, ow.
wait, that actually does sound like bottoming.
Or Kylie when she found out about Fenty.
That
Oh yes,
base, that's
Yes.
what bottoming sounds like to you?
what you just said when you first do it for the first time. Yeah,
Oh, I mean,
That's what
I thought it
sounded
was
like,
more
girl.
like,
I was like,
ow! But I mean,
that's true. No, I was
That's-
screaming. I was like,
like, no, take it out, no. Like, ow. You said you'd
Sorry.
be gentle.
okay.
Oh my God,
Anyway,
pull it
let's
out.
move
That's
on
just
to
the
minutes
tip.
of color.
Okay, that's minutes of color. Oh, fuck. I'm being
No.
you today, Baze.
Well, Halloween is coming up.
Oh god, I'm not gonna go there. Okay, that was fuck. What is the section called?
The intro.
The intro.
Yeah.
wow.
And we'll see you in the minutes of color.
Bum 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 bum.
bum bum.
Trash, 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 trash.
Okay, and we're back. And this is the minutes of color.
Gaston.
Color.
Oh god.
Oh Lord Jesus.
It's a fire.
So what's been happening?
So what's been happening? First
What's
of all,
the
the
411?
MTA can choke. Fuck the MTA. Lord
Uh-oh.
Jesus. This is just a little mini side piece, side quest, you know.
Sorry, you said side piece and I was triggered. I was like, how'd you know my life?
oh my god.
Yeah, it's just they've just been consistently fucking up. Like trains don't come, trains turn into, you know, express trains turn into local stops. It's just really annoying. And like, you know, for the New York listeners, I know you are feeling this pain of trying to get somewhere and it takes you 3, 4, 5 days to get there because the goddamn trains aren't running like they're supposed to. And like, I understand that they're dealing with shit and they're trying to fix it, but Mark was on a train the other day and he didn't see it, but some passenger punched out at one of the MTA employees.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Because
why?
people are just done. Like, people are tired of like the trains not coming.
That's not funny. I'm sorry.
It's not funny, and it's actually a federal crime, I believe.
I was gonna say, isn't that like a really serious offense?
Yeah. So, like, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but at the same time, because it's not their fault. It's not their fault. But at the same time, it's like, somebody has to pay for this. Because people are late to work, people are losing jobs, and nobody cares that the trains aren't running on time, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
none of that matters to your employer. So it's just really frustrating to have to deal with all of this. Like, it's just annoying. Anyway.
So like what? Like
And
realistically, like what? Oh, sorry. Realistically, how early do you have to leave from like wherever you're at to like get somewhere to like on time?
You don't know. That's the thing. It's so inconsistent that you never know.
Right.
Like sometimes you get somewhere. Like I've gotten downtown in like half an hour. Sometimes it takes an hour and a half. You know, it's just dependent on like what's going on with the trains at the time.
Right.
And so it's
So
like you
just
can't
leave
even
4
prepare
hours
for
early
it.
just in case.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yes, just leave 4 or 5 hours, maybe a day, a couple days before you need to be somewhere. And then, you know, hopefully
Just
you'll
camp
be there
out
on
in front of
time.
work. Just bring your tent.
And, you know, and then that's just the price that you pay because, you know, I was like, at some point, I'm just going to start walking around the city because I'm just going to be like, fuck it.
That's cardio, sis. Do it.
Yeah, I'm going to just walk to Brooklyn. Bitch, yesterday, okay, let me tell you. Okay, this is a week thing. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, have y'all heard of Jenna Jameson?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
So Jenna Jameson was a very famous porn star. She said that the woman who there was a trans woman, Inez. What is her fucking name? Inez. Oh shit! I fucking posted the wrong link to this.
This says Pink does not deny that she was shading that.
No,
You
it's
know
in
what?
there. You just have to scroll down. It's in there. You have to scroll down.
Sorry.
Oh.
I forgot, girl. This was like one of those like multiple story things.
Mm-hmm.
So, her name is Inez Rau, R-A-U. She said that she's alienating the client base. Playboy is alienating the client base by having this trans woman be a playmate. This woman has been like courting Nazis a lot lately.
What?
And yeah, which is actually really embarrassing because her ex is Tito Ortiz and her children are like mixed. So, and also apparently according to her Twitter, she's Jewish. So I'm just like, sweetie.
It says mom, wife, sober, conservative, lib slayer, Jewish, I don't know what, homonym
Jenna the
receiver?
lip slayer. Drinking your liberal tears one drop at a time.
Oh,
You
no.
cucks.
Did Jenna Jameson say that?
No, this is lip slayer is her. Yeah, it's in her bio on Twitter.
So stupid.
Yeah,
She's probably one of those people that like went to Twitter. Went to Starbucks and bought coffee to protest it. Like she does not seem like she's the brightest.
I'm just like, girl, shut your puffy face ass up. Go sit down somewhere. You don't even look recognizable anymore. Like, go get some more surgeries and stop tripping off of what this woman is doing. Okay, she is the playmate. You are not. Like, and that's what it is. And she's gorgeous.
Here's the thing. Jenna Jameson, in this profile picture that she has on Twitter, she kind of looks like Ygritte from Game of Thrones mixed with like Hazel E. And like it's not doing it for me. Like, she looks like the girl from Brave, like if she was,
she wishes. Girl from Brave, I'm so sorry, sweetie, that an ugly ass bitch like this would even be compared to you. She wishes she looked like Brave. Like the chick from Brave. I mean, her face certainly looks animated. It looks, poorly drawn, but,
Oh my god. It looks like one of those blow up anime, like, dolls that, like...
No.
Have, like, the
does she not look like those mechanical dolls, like, that they're making in Japan right now? Like, they make them look like celebrities?
No.
She sure does.
Like, she does not look...
She's like, I am human. Nothing more than...
Oh, so she's Bjork.
No, that's
okay.
Sib Deliza. Girl, what? How dare you slander Sib Deliza in front of my two eyes, my own two eyes?
Who's that?
Huh?
Who's that?
Okay, we're moving on.
Anyway, yes. Did y'all see little baby Blue Ivy dabbing on him at her cousin's party, his 13th birthday party? Julian's
Blue Ivy was pissed that footage leaked. I'm sure she was like, "This was for the album. Who has cell phones on set? I told you. Get out."
Somebody said, "Now we know what Beyonce's choreo is going to be like for the tour."
Oh no!
Oh shit!
I saw that video, and the first thing I thought of was when Renee says he can't talk about his week because the NDA is too tight. I was just like, you know what? Somebody on set signed an NDA, and they're gonna lose their life because they broke it.
You know what she was
dabbing.
She was giving me the choreo from Haunted. You know when Beyonce does
dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun. And then like she does like the African like okay, sorry.
That's not Haunted, girl. That's Grown Woman.
No, that's Haunted. She does the Haunted thing. I mean, no, I just threw that in there. That's not the voice that actually like that is not said. Nobody says that was me, like, adding to the ambiance of the situation. Like, I was just trying to give y'all, like, visuals. You know what I mean? Like, when you hear that, what kind of dancing do you think of? I wasn't saying that that's what she was saying. Anyway.
Thank you, Baze.
He said, I know my Beyonce, bitch.
Bitch. First of all, bitch. Let me tell you something, bitch.
I've been loving all the first of all memes coming out lately. They're really good.
Yeah. Somebody...
Oh, my...
Somebody who's like, he loves when my legs are shaking during sex. First of all, I saw a roach on the wall.
No.
Oh my god. You know what's really funny and shady? I saw one that was like, to see more, subscribe to my OnlyFans. And it was like, first of all, your lewds are all over Tumblr.
Right?
And I was like, oh, yikes.
And if they were before, they're going to be once the people that are subscribed to you share them with everyone.
Exactly.
I need to take down that video.
What? Oh, so actress and comedian Charlene Yee shared a story about David Cross this week. He apparently saw, I guess they had a meeting like 10 years ago. He said to her, so he asked her about her clothes. He started making fun of her pants because I guess she had a tear in her pants. And she was like kind of silent. She was silent because she didn't know how to react to the situation. Mm-hmm. And so he responds with, "What's the matter? You don't speak English? Ching chong, ching chong."
Yikes, don't talk to Ruby like that.
When Cross realized Yee was offended, she said he asked her in a southern accent if she was going to fight him with karate. Ew. So the first thing, so this like leads to a different discussion that I kind of want to, a question I kind of have for you guys. But he responded with, "I don't remember this happening."
Yeah.
Then he
Of course he
later
doesn't.
came up. Yeah. Then he later came up with, well, actually, I was like trying to get in the he was method acting for a role as a Southern bigot, and so that's why he treated this woman like this in real life off the set.
What?
Yeah.
Method acting?
Girl, listen, and
That's a creative ass.
And David Cross, girl, all you do is stand there and tell like joke after joke. Like he acts like he's doing like some like emotional ass like scenes. Like nobody has ever seen.
Right.
Well, actually, I don't know. I'm not familiar with a lot of his work, so let me not say that.
I only know him from the Scary Movie series.
I know him from Arrested Development, which is equally problematic as what you just said. So
I've seen him from Arrested Development, and I've seen him in Kimmy, the unfortunate Kimmy Schmidt, whatever Kimmy Schmidt, and
Tina Fey.
He just pretty much the same person. I mean, not the same person, but like he does pretty much the same thing. Like it doesn't take a lot of like I need to prepare for this. You know what I mean? Before I get on set.
That is the most creative.
I'm sure it does to an extent, but like the thing with method acting is like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like you're trying to stay in character and you're trying to keep it as realistic as possible, but like
It's just not realistic.
it's just not realistic. First of all,
Yeah.
and second of all, this whole like, oh, I'm method acting, so let me treat people like shit. Like that's that like there's a line between method acting and trying to stay true to your craft, and then being an asshole.
You
and
know,
like if you're crossing that line, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say it reminds me of Viola Davis, and somebody asked her
Right,
like
and
what
Jared
she does
Leto.
before she gets on set,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Do you prepare? Like, do you get into the role?" And she was like, "No," and they were like, "Well, then how do you get ready to like be on set, and how do you give these performances?" And she was like, "It's called acting.
Right.
That's
Boom.
That's what
Right.
you do. You act. You get on set and you act." A lot of
Right.
people put a lot of these pretentious ass like white actors do all this extra ass shit that nobody would put up with. Do you think that anybody would put up with Viola Davis acting like Jared Leto or like fucking who's the guy who played Batman and like went off on somebody on set?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Like, do you think anybody would accept that kind of behavior from anyone who wasn't like a white dude with clout in the industry?
Right.
Clout.
So
Yeah.
so it's like this like artistic white dude. So he's just being an artist. He's just trying, he's
Exactly.
being true to the form and like,
Exactly.
you know, I don't know. Like,
Anyway, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry,
they just he's able to get they're able to get away with the shit that like, yeah, Viola Davis would. First of all, I don't think she would ever do because she's not a dick, and you know,
definitely.
like, and she wouldn't be able to get away with it even if she wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
She wouldn't be able to get away with what?
Murder.
Oh, I was like, wait, I don't know.
But yeah, I think there's just like this again white entitlement like strikes again of just with whatever. It's been like, oh, you're just too sensitive, or you're just like you're taking it too far.
So
like
I do have to say though, that is the most creative excuse I have ever heard for
Is
racism
it?
in my life.
Is it
I'm like,
method acting?
Yes,
I feel like I've heard that
like,
before.
I'm like, excuse, like I'm always like, what? Like if someone told me that, I wouldn't even know how to react to that. You're method acting a bigot. Like there, sometimes people just say stuff that's so off the wall. It's just like you can't believe that.
Yeah.
Like that's a Sarah Huckabee Sanders ass answer, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
So what I was trying to the thing that I want to ask you guys about is so Amber Tamblyn who's David
Amber
Cross's
Tamblyn.
wife, has been getting like a lot of shit on Twitter about this, and so like her point was that women should not be made responsible for what men do, and I think in this particular situation, I wouldn't hold her responsible for something that he did 10 years ago because she's married to him now and she wasn't married to him 10 years ago. Not saying that he didn't exhibit behavior. But I don't know. What I do know is this situation happened. I know this situation happened 10 years ago. And I think that like the onus is on him to be responsible for what he did. And I think that like making her responsible for it, I think that's a reach.
Well,
But
I think people. Oh, go ahead, let's go.
However, I do think that her main point was that you shouldn't make women responsible for what their husbands do. And I think that I will say that I think that who you choose to be married to does reflect on who you are as a person. And I do, like, for example, I meant to mention this last week, but Milo Yepa, whatever, got married to a black guy like a few weeks ago. And I'm like looking at that black guy like, girl, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I'm definitely gonna be like, you on some shit too, because
get out.
This was okay enough for you. No, not even get out. He's in there. He's gone. We lost him. He walked down the aisle with the nigga. He's gone.
He's in the hot box.
Getting that back. So in that situation, I would say, like, I would totally hold him responsible because he's saying that whether he agrees with everything that his husband is saying or not, he's still in that relationship with him. So it's not enough for him to not be in a relationship with him. You know, with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, a lot of people were like, oh, well, like, she shouldn't be held responsible. But she endorsed a lot of the stuff that he was saying on top of the fact that she was just, again, you're married to him. You're in this position with him. You are partially, like, I'm going to blame you, too. Because I'm like, look at what your husband's doing and you're standing next to him as he's doing it. Yeah. Like, that's just what it is. So I think that in this particular case, I would agree with Amber Tamlin. But generally, I would say that who your partner is a reflection of who you are.
Right. So because you're like allowing all these things to happen. Like, you're just standing by and being like, oh, this is like, you're saying while they're doing this, and you're continuing to be like to date them or be their partners or wife, husband, etc. Like, you're saying, like, this is okay. This is the type of partner I want to have. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, if, like, with, like, family members, it's really hard. But if they're, like, saying something stupid or racist or transphobic, etc., you're just like, you don't have to be my family. But, like, if you continue, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, like, I think it reflects on, like, what you would allow. Like, because someone who was truly upset by these things and, like, truly, like really, behind people of color, marginalized folks or whatever, would not find that acceptable whatsoever in a partner.
I agree. I think I 98% agree. I think, like, the 2% is it depends on, like, what it is. Like, if you say something like, one time I'm not gonna, like, divorce you, like, I'll try to educate you, but, like, I get it in theory.
Right.
But no, I mostly agree. I don't really have anything else to add. Also, but I just did want to say that.
Did she? I'm not sure if she did or not, but I heard that she was defending him.
So that was the one thing that, like, so she didn't really defend him, but she said he apologized while also saying, but also talk to him because he's the one who did it. Right. So, like, I felt like she could have left that part off, like, oh, he apologized, because, again, like, it just was all half-assed. To me, it seemed like he didn't. He knew it wasn't gonna fly, like, to sit up there and be like, oh, I don't remember this happening. So then he was like, oh, well, I don't remember this happening. But you know what? Now that you mention it, I was actually method acting. You know what I mean? Like, I think that she could have left that part out because he just doesn't look good in this situation. Like, he could have easily just been like, you know what? Wow, that was really fucked up of me. I've grown so much in the last 10 years, and that's not something I would ever do today. I'm sorry that I did that to you. And this would have been gone and over, and nobody would have said anything about it. But white people always gotta drag shit out. Y'all want to be the victim so bad. Anyway.
Yeah. Or don't want to own up to your bullshit.
Yeah. You know what could be solved? So much could be solved if people just stopped, said I'm sorry, and moved on.
Right.
Stop and think. If you have to think about it, if your immediate reaction is to be defensive, if you want to, like, sit and think about it for a minute, that's cool too. But that's way better than just responding and saying some bullshit.
Right.
So, speaking of bullshit, we talked a lot about the Harvey Weinstein situation, so I don't think we need to go too deeply back into that. But, Lupita Nyong'o has added her voice to the already, like, I want to say a room full, but, like, it's getting to a point where it's a stadium full of women who have spoken out against Harvey. It was very detailed. It was so beautifully written. Like, again, I mean, it's Lupita. She talks about, him taking her to his home with his kids there.
Right.
Like, with his children there, and then having the children in the next room, and then asking her to massage. Yeah, and then asking her to massage him. And
Ew.
she talks about taking the only control. Well, he has to massage her, and she talks about taking control of the situation and telling him that she'd give him a massage instead, so that she can know where his hands were. And it brought up people in these situations, specifically women, having to bargain their way out of situations,
right,
instead of just being like, hey, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
And so she talks about going to dinner and having the waiter, he asked her, he told her she should get a vodka or something, and she was like, no, I just want a Sprite or something. And the waiter was going to give her a Sprite, and Harvey Weinstein, they went back and forth, and Harvey Weinstein was like, who's paying the bill, to the waiter, and was like, bring her vodka. And you know what I mean? Forcing her to drink alcohol, right. And trying to get her to come up to his room. And she was just like, you know what? I would not be able to live with myself if I did what you're trying to get me to do. And it was very well received. A lot of people were surprised because, up until this point, I think one of the women is Filipino, right? The model, or is she?
But none of them were black.
None of them were black, and specifically a dark-skinned black woman. You know what I mean? A lot of people were like, "Wow, that this happened to her." She told this story. Harvey Weinstein has not disputed any of the victims' claims since Rose McGowan. When she first came out, he said that those were not true. That what Rose McGowan and Asia Argento were saying was not true. And since then, he's been quiet about all these other women who've come out: Mira Sorvino, Ashley Judd, Angelina Jolie, Gwyneth Paltrow. So many women have come out. It would actually be easier to name the women who did not have to deal with this man. So he said that this was not true, and honestly, I think that that's this is an obvious case of misogynoir, because I think that he understands that black women are not valued the same white women are, and so that they're less likely to be believed. And I think that he's trying to take advantage of that, because he's not said anything about any of these other women who have made their claims. He's only said something about Lupita, and Lupita has actually had the most detailed account.
Baze, for some of our listeners, can you explain what misogynoir is?
It's a specific misogyny, race-based misogyny against black women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, that's very specific to her.
And the account, one of the things that really stuck out to me was I think it was towards the middle end, and when she was leaving a restaurant with him, and she gets in the car and she turns back and she says, well, are we good? And he said, you are, but your career might not be.
What the fuck?
And it's I remember reading on Twitter how people remembered how after Lupita won the Oscar that she just wasn't in a ton of movies everywhere, and she only started recently being in things, and people are really they think that that's the reason why. And it's just crazy how this man, I think we've said it before, but it's just crazy how this man uses this position of power to really, make or break these women, and it's disgusting. And the fact that so many people, when Quentin Tarantino, we said, hasn't said anything, and he said that he's known so much all this time, and it's just I don't understand why. Where's your conscience? Conscience. I don't understand what about that. I don't get it. So,
and it's
it's sad.
So many people are praising him for being saying what basically everyone in Hollywood should be saying, which is that they all knew. Everyone to some level knew. How did I know? And I'm not even in the industry. How did so many people who have no connection to this industry hear jokes and rumors and stories about Harvey Weinstein? So it there is thank you, I guess, in that sense for acknowledging it, but also it's just you shouldn't get credit for acknowledging that you knew something horrible and then continue to ignore it. And not only, it wasn't even a story that he had just heard. His girlfriend, Mira Sorvino, who he was dating in the 90s, was a victim of it.
Right.
And she told him,
yeah.
And that's also a thing that has me wondering about him, because I feel like I remember him saying that he was shocked by this when it first happened, but I may be wrong about that. In any case, I think that the only reason he's actually coming out and saying that he is acknowledging that he knew is because I think that Mira Sorvino, who's been very honest about the situation, probably was going to be honest about who she told.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that I think he would have came out with like egg on his face if he had come out and been like, "Oh, this is so shocking! I can't believe that this happened." So like, I really, and also like, you know, just because he like loves nigger so much, he loves to say that word so much, I just don't trust him. And so I always, you know, he's just one of those sneaky ass white men. He looks sneaky as shit, so I don't trust him.
And okay, so did y'all hear about Sophie Okonedo?
Yeah, yeah.
You heard of? Okay. Yeah, so Sophie...
you can go ahead and say it. Tell it.
Okay, yeah. Sophie Okonedo was supposed to be in a movie. It was called Bee Monkey, directed by Michael Caton Jones. And when the director hired her, who he thought was the best actress as the main actress for the movie, Harvey Weinstein was like, do you think she's fuckable? I don't know if she's fuckable. Yeah, like constantly. And then when the director, Michael, like held on and was like, she's the best person for the role, and Harvey Weinstein got upset, and then the director was like, don't fuck up this movie just because you want to get laid, and then ended up firing him, ended up firing the director, and then recasting it with Asia Argento, who's one of the people that has said she was raped by Harvey Weinstein, and then for 5 years after that had quote unquote consensual sex with him because she knew that there was like no other way around the like her like having her career still.
Yeah.
So that's insane. Yeah. I don't know why he's not in jail yet. Like I don't. Yeah.
And so like I don't know if y'all know who Sophie Okonedo is, but she's like an amazing actress, amazing black actress, who was like in several movies since then. So.
I think she identifies as mixed race. Sorry. In better news, fine, sexy ass Riz Ahmed may be playing Hamlet in a Netflix show. I guess an adaptation. I don't know if it's going to be a show or a movie, but it's going to be a Netflix adaptation of Hamlet.
Where do we know him from?
He was in Rogue One. He was in Rogue One.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, he was the one, the pilot.
I think so. I don't remember what he
was
did,
in the Charlie XCX video.
He's
fine. I don't know what that is.
Everybody was in that though.
True.
I wasn't.
So okay, everybody who has some type of fame was in it.
He was reblogged by Jax. Okay.
What?
This is true. Wow. This is true. My bad. I beg your forgiveness. Anyway, he's fine. He's British. He's brown. He's got a beard. Those eyes. He's got beautiful eyes. Anyway, yes, that's a man. A man. Sorry. So, what else? What? Okay, so RZA apparently admitted that Russell Crowe actually spit on Azalea Banks. But and you know what? I was quick to react and I was like, fuck that nigga, he's a coon, blah, 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 blah. And he probably is, actually, if we being real about it. But, to be fair, if we like facts, you know what I mean, in Trump's America, if we're trying to stick to the facts, he did in fact say and admit to Russell Crowe spitting on Azalea back when this whole situation happened. So, I will say that.
Wait, okay, I haven't followed this story, but my question to you is, if he admitted it back then, why is it news now? Did something happen?
He was on The Breakfast Club and he said it again. I guess people weren't paying attention the first time he said it, because what he said at the first situation was, he did spit on her, but it wasn't that much. And he said that he never choked.
What?
I know. But he said he spit on her, but it was like not that much spit, and that
it was like an M&M size wad. It wasn't like an M&M with peanut size wad.
Oh, and God.
And that he didn't choke her, and that he was preventing her. That Russell Crowe was preventing her from stabbing a guest. Now, what do we know about Azalea Banks? We know that she pops off at the mouth a lot. But have we ever known Azalea to be out here cutting people?
Right.
That don't sound real to me.
Right. And yeah, that's like, weird. And it's also like, I think, and this happens a lot with like people that don't really censor the way they talk, especially in places where there are a lot of liberal and white folks that are used to like everything being super polite all the time. A lot of these people are like accused of being angry and violent when really they're just not shutting up about like something that they think is fucked up that's going on in the current situation. And then so they're constantly labeled as like these angry, violent people when it's just like, no, they just won't shut up when you say stupid shit.
Yeah, I also would be surprised too if, because a lot of people perceive like Black women to be angry a lot.
Yeah.
If that wasn't what happened a lot too. Because Azealia Banks is not like walking around with a smile all the time. She's like, what the fuck you mean, nigga? Like that's how she talks. Like she does not play around.
Right.
So I'm not saying like, I'm not like out here being like Team Azealia, I stand Azealia. But I will say that I think that there is something really profoundly fucked up about a Black man sitting there and watching a white man spit on a Black woman and not doing anything about it. And not only not doing anything about it, but standing next to him. And didn't he also say something about like he can't say anything about Harvey Weinstein because he worked with him and he doesn't want to like fuck that? I don't know. Let me not say that because I don't know that that's all the way facts. But I vaguely recall reading that when the whole thing, like when the stories first started coming out.
And that's, I mean, this is another thing though. Like this is, I mean, in a way, not necessarily the same thing, obviously, but in a way related because it's just like, in a way related because a lot of like POC in the industry see really fucked up racist shit and they feel like I can't say anything because this is going to affect my job. Do you know what I'm saying? Like just like these, I mean, it's actually not just like, let me not say that, but like somewhat related to like women feeling like I can't say when I'm being sexually harassed because I'm gonna fuck up my career. So it's
to
just
an
like,
extent, but I feel like Black men are way more prone to like give up like any type of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're just much more willing to just like get rid of all of their morals and their what is the word I'm looking for? Like what's something that you like?
Conscience?
Not conscience.
value, clout.
Not clout. I guess they just don't care about their standards anymore. Like the standards of the kind of person that they would be before, like the money and the fame, is like easily washed away with money. And like this is something that like I see continuously with like Black men. As soon as they get on, as soon as they get famous, you saw Pharrell was talking about he was new black and all this other shit. Like as soon as they get on, you know what I mean? Like they leave you for that white mentality. So
a lot of people say that Black men are the white people of Black people.
They are.
Yeah,
straight Black men are the white people. Yes.
Yeah, it's how like Lil Wayne, he was asked about Black Lives Matter and he said, what is that? I don't care or something like that or whatever. And he said, I don't really care. It was I can't remember who else. But
Young Thug did that
Thank
shit
you.
too. And he
A
calls
lot of
dark
people
skinned
do
women
that.
roaches. But anyway, continue.
And A$AP Rocky was talking about how like Black women shouldn't wear certain color lipstick and all
Red
that kind of
lipstick.
stuff. Like like and the crazy thing is though, a lot of that just comes from self-hate because it's like they always talk about like it's usually about like dark-skinned women that they're talking about this, and it's just like your mom is a dark-skinned woman, like you have sisters. I mean, not that you have to have them to think this, but it's like you think this, like if you're thinking that about them, like you just hate yourself and whatever. I mean, that goes into a whole other conversation. But
so the internet was aghast when they found out through Instagram that Cardi B and Offset were breaking up. But they apparently got back together because what she initially wrote was in her Instagram story. She's so ghetto and she's such a millennial.
I love it.
And she's such a millennial. Like the fact that she like put her whole breakup on her Instagram story. Like she posted a video and just put single over it. And then she got another picture of her captioned "peace nigga" and she's throwing up like peace signs. Then she like I guess a few hours later she posted on her Instagram story a picture of Offset and said, "So listen, babes, I exaggerated a little bit earlier because I was really upset. And the Bronx girl and me always have to go to the extreme. I came to my senses now. I'm sorry. Waffle House on me?
Waffle House.
Yes.
I guess that's for him. So I mean, I guess she's not inviting all of us to Waffle House, but
or Olive Garden.
If I
For
went
Beyonce,
if I went to the
Lobster
Waffle,
but then she
Cardi B is
tweeted,
Waffle
sometimes
House.
then she posted, sometimes you gotta do shit the old you would do, so motherfuckers know not to play with the new you.
I love her so much.
You found out? You thought they broke up?
I just found out right now.
I was sad. I was like, oh no, because they look so cute together. But
I still think she could do so much better. I was actually kind of happy that.
Well,
I was like, yes, girl.
I don't feel like a lot of people can handle her. But I will say, if I went to the Waffle House with Cardi B, that would be the last thing I did in my life. Like,
why?
Because I would die from like either the anxiety or the excitement or both. Like, are you kidding me?
I feel like she would put you at ease immediately. Like, I feel like hanging out with Cardi B, you'd just be dying the whole time.
Oh, I know. It's not her. It's me. Like, my anxiety's like, bitch. Like surprise, bitch.
She's gonna be like, snap out of it.
No, but I think that it's and her tongue is like all out with grits and shit on it.
Oh my god.
But no, I think that like their relationship reminds me of like the relationships that I see like where I'm at, like where I live and like when I grew up, and it's just like you just hear them yelling at each other at like 3:00 at night in the apartment complex, and it's like, I hate you, nigga, don't hear it, like fuck you, and then like they throw the clothes out of the window and all that shit. Like I feel like
Baby Boy, like with Taraji P, where they fuck after.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay, low key. Side note, I used to watch that sex scene before I started watching porn because I didn't know what it was. So like, Taraji's like,
I'm so sad that I was attracted to Tyrese for even a brief
Same.
second. It just makes my skin crawl.
He would always be like, "Oh, you like Daddy Dick?" And she's like, "Yeah, I like Daddy Dick." And like that's what I would watch for my porn. Yes.
And I was right there. I was right there outside the screen, like, yes, Daddy.
I wish Tyrese loved Tyrese now, but whatever.
Oh, girl, that whole situation's a mess. We don't even need to go into that.
It's a mess.
I'm letting go and letting God.
That's what he needs to do.
Yeah. So, I guess it's been confirmed that Justin Timberlake is performing at the Super Bowl halftime. And I just been taking time to think about all the things that I would much rather do than sit there and watch Justin Timberlake, sing in his black accent,
Oh no,
Negro.
Yes.
I like. It's really gonna be just 30 minutes of him singing Negro over and over and over again.
Oh my god!
I just like,
and
why
maybe
Justin
a Moonwalker
Timberlake? Why? I don't know why Justin Timberlake. I don't,
because
he's
Jay-Z
kind of a thing
no.
for white people and like people and like people from like the aughts that like grew up in that time.
Is he still though? Like, is he?
White women. Let me not say all white women. Hashtag not all white women. But the white women I know
don't discriminate against Caucasian women. Thank you.
But a lot of the white women that I know still have carried over their like childhood crushes from NSYNC to like still like adult Justin Timberlake and feel like a connection because feel like they like grew up together, type of thing.
I never
to
got
quote
it.
Sister Act, what has he done for you lately?
I always thought he was so whiny, and I hated how he came out and was like, Britney Spears wasn't a virgin when I met her. Like, that's none of your business to disclose to the world. Like, you fucking asshole. And he's just such an attention hoe. Like, he's so, like, thirsty for attention.
Yeah. It's not, he's just corny. Like, it's
and
just,
thirsty.
like,
he's corny and thirsty.
Like, he's just really corny. I did enjoy his last album, though. It had some good songs. But
I didn't even know.
I just think if he doesn't bring Janet out, then
there's no point.
Like, I'll be watching because I think she is going, like, he has to, right?
I don't
like,
think
right?
so. Because, look, she doesn't like him.
I feel, that, and I feel like they're trying to shy away from controversy, like, so much after, like, the Beyonce thing.
And Lady Gaga.
Look how safe Lady Gaga was.
It wasn't controversial, but, like, it still was to white people. You saw all the white people like, oh my god, she's so brave. Oh my god, Lady Gaga just changed the world.
Yeah, that was
The
white
only thing
liberals.
she did that was controversial was jump off that damn roof looking like a...
Everyone that voted for Hillary was standing for that moment.
Yes. That was the moment she became president.
Van Jones is shaking right now.
I'm just telling you, you guys, Democrats, and if you're counting on Lady Gaga going back to her old ways after this, it's not. She became president in this moment.
Some white gay was listening to this right now and was like, Lady Gaga and Beyonce 2020 Telephone Part 2. No one wants it to happen but you.
But you know what? That was the only reason I watched the Super Bowl halftime because I really did hope that Beyonce was going to come out. I was like, yeah, she's going to do it. And then she played Telephone. I was like, ah! And then she didn't come out. And I was like, that was what my dumbass gets for even hoping.
I feel like that conversation would go the same way that fake Beyonce Kim Kardashian conversation went, when she's like, "Hello, who this? it's Kim Kardashian. Jay, who gave this hoe my number? I think you just called me a hoe. Oh, you heard that? I feel like it's the same thing when Gaga's like, "Hey, honeybee, you want to come do the Super Bowl with me?" She's like, "Girl, hell nah, bye."
She's like, I got a baby, shit. And she only
Girl,
had
I got
one
things
at the
to do.
I was gonna say, yeah, like I would rather watch like a live performance of Selena Gomez. Like I'd rather sit through her entire concert than with like my bleach margarita, sipping on it heavily, sipping on my bleach margarita heavily,
shaken, not stirred.
You know, yeah, virgin.
Shook.
You know,
shooken, not stirred.
Because I just can't like I just can't imagine, like, who wants to see Justin Timberlake? Like, who really wants to see a halftime show of Justin Timberlake? Those ratings are going to suck. The NFL's ratings already suck. Like, not to sound like President Trump, but the NFL's ratings already suck. They're not going to do good. Like, y'all, he better bring out Beyonce or something. Well, she's not going to do it. Jay-Z already turned them down. Beyonce's not coming back.
No, they're done.
Yeah.
They're like, we off that. The Super Bowl. How are you bigger than the Super Bowl? Like,
right? We're like, the Super Bowl is over. That's so... 3 years ago.
It's done.
And I like to watch the Super Bowl for like what they're going to wear, and like I don't really care what Justin Timberlake's going to wear. Like menswear kind of sucks in general.
Are you talking about what the football players are wearing?
No, the performer, like you know, like what Lady Gaga's going to wear.
I'm just like, why
I'm
not
wearing
like
Versace for Target,
or like
like Justin Timberlake's just going to wear pants and a shirt. Like it's boring.
Oh my god, could you imagine if Solange did it?
Hell no! There's no fucking way.
But look,
Solange to the halftime.
She would do full on like Malcolm X. She was like, y'all thought Beyonce made y'all uncomfortable. She would have a full on afro. She'd be like wearing like "White Lives Don't Matter" on a t-shirt.
Yes. Solange would come out on like a giant like Cleopatra like entrance thing, and then it would be dark in the stadium, and then you would just hear, "Just because I like black culture doesn't mean that I don't like white culture." And then it would like echo like white culture, white culture, white culture. And then you hear bam, don't, boom, and then she just comes out, and then like she does cranes in the sky, and then it's like and then it's probably like KKK members like hanging from like the stadium and shit like that. And then like she goes into like a gorgeous dance number where she like does like hand movements and like tutting and shit like that.
Oh my god! And they like jump like fake Richard Spencer.
Yes. Oh my god! I actually want this now. Can this happen?
We need this Solange.
Oh,
Solo.
And then like hanging down from the stadium is like a sun that's like radiating like black light or something.
Oh, it's a black woman. It's a black woman radiating light. Yes. We
it's
are
like
the future.
Pregnant...
Black women, we are the future. Like comes up on the screen or some shit. Like, or they spell it out or something.
It's like a pregnant lady hanging from the ceiling, but like her womb is like the light and shit. Oh yes, my god,
girl, you concepts. This is why you a photographer, bitch.
Like I'm gonna actually cut this clip and send it to Parkwood. Be like, so
hire me,
hire ideas, choices.
How to get away with murder, scandal, darlings. Oh, sorry, were you gonna say something, Renee?
Oh no. Well, I was just gonna say the NFL doesn't really have like the best politics in general, so I don't see them doing like ever kind of doing anything controversial again.
Oh no, we're not talking about that. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh no, but a bitch can dream.
No. I'm not saying. Oh, no, I'm just saying like in general. Like I'm not being like, oh, this isn't realistic. No, it's just kind of like, just with the with the kneeling, with the fucking Beyonce. After all these like backlashes that they're getting.
Yeah. Now they're doing a white lash.
White lash? Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. Fuck the NFL, to be honest.
Did you make a whip sound? Shut
yeah,
the
that's
fuck
what a white lash sounds like. Get out there and pick
shit.
some cotton, you goddamn niggers.
Oh my god.
I said, but quick. Don't make me get my whip out.
Oh no. I'm telling you, Baze does this.
It's good to be.
Listen throughout the episodes. Baze does this accent every now and then, and there's a reason for it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the reason is that it's real and it's out there. The truth is out there. Okay, I'm just trying to warn y'all because these white people, they just waiting to get the whips back out. They're waiting.
Oh, I'm sure that there are people that have like a collection and they like dust it like all the time. Like,
it's like your time is coming, sweet child.
Like they use like the iPhone 10 as like
Honey
a face
child.
scanner to go into their room, and then like it opens up into like a temperature controlled whip room.
They whisper to it. They're like, "Your time is coming, honey child." Like, show it be soon. God, they got their nooses already. You know what I mean?
Nooses already.
They got the nooses ready. They like retighten them every once in a while, just so you know.
Change the ropes. Yeah, like they have to like put Indust and like 409 on the shackles, and like they know. Yeah, they got it
ready. The anti-rust.
Yeah,
solution,
they like keep
I
it.
don't know.
They keep them right there next to their Taylor Swift albums, and they like dust them off. They're all ready.
That's what I was gonna say. What did you think of the Taylor Swift album?
I did like it, bitch. I said what I said.
Listen, first
wait,
of all,
are you talking about when she looks like a robot?
Wait, Taylor Swift, the album came out?
Video? No, I'm talking about the new song. It's called Glamour.
Yeah, she looks like a new robot.
Gorgeous. I didn't see the video. I didn't even know there was a video.
I don't think there was a video.
No, there's a promo for her, and she looks like she's on the set of Tron or something. She's wearing this like robotic suit that lights up or something.
This is recent?
Yes,
yeah.
New Taylor. Show us, Hunty.
It's on her Instagram, I think.
Really? I don't actually follow her on Instagram. Let me see.
We wouldn't know anything about that, John.
People have been like, I don't know. People have been posting photos, like screen caps of it.
I thought you were a little monster.
What the fuck? Oh, you know what? Let me stop playing this because she actually will sue our asses for playing the Instagram video.
Oh, were you about to play a video? Girl.
I was gonna watch it, but then the audio got picked up on the mic, and I was like, out of all the celebrities, that bitch was in the cease and desist letter.
Right? She's wearing like a robot suit. She looks like wannabe Fifth Element.
She looks like Scarlett Johansson, and is probably just as white as Tasteless.
Oh,
ooh. How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal. Scandal is not even worth mentioning this week. I don't feel it was a fifth episode, and it like could have never. I forgot he was on the show, to be honest with you, until this episode, and I didn't need it.
Bitch, I still haven't seen it. I need to do better.
Okay, have you seen How to Get Away with Murder?
No, that either.
Bitch, girl.
Is it good?
It was good. How to Get Away with Murder is always good. Scandal's the one that's on the low end.
You know what it is? It's just because How to Get Away with Murder, the last season stressed me out so much. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, the weekly just like... Okay, my question is, what's like... Because you know how to Get Away with Murder always like does these flash forwards or flashbacks? What's like the whole thing this season? Like, who's the... is it like who killed
What's someone? The white girl's name? The white Latina girl?
Laurel.
Laurel is in the hospital, and we don't know what happened to her baby.
Is it kind of bad that I don't care?
Yeah, I care because that child is half, Wes is half Wes's child. I don't care about her, but I do care about the child. I want to know what happened to the baby.
I just feel like Laurel, like I said before, Laurel is annoying as shit. So it's like, I feel like the baby's in the next room, and they're just playing a joke on her, and it's to humble her ass.
And they're just fucking with her.
Did you say humble her ass?
Yes. They'll be like, look, bitch, we done told you all fucking season you've been playing around, bitch. It's not a fucking game. We didn't take your goddamn baby, but now you need to shut your damn mouth. Don't shake the table unless you're ready to get shook, bitch. Here's the baby. Shut up. And that's it.
Oh, God. Okay. So that's going to be it for the minutes of color.
Minutes?
That's going to be it for the minutes of color.
Minutes of color?
Minutes.
Okay. We will see y'all in the discourse. Oh, wait. Sorry. Paige, you have to do it correctly.
The discourse will be coming next. Ba-bam. Ba-bam.
Bye. And we're back. And what is this, base?
This is the discourse. We just over here discoursing, just the four of us.
There was not that much cigarette in your voice when you said it that time.
Wait, could we do a shout out to that meme that John made?
Oh, the dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
because the Chihuahua with the cigarette and like that was all sassy and
You
had
know
a New York
what?
accent. That was very
Did you just
base.
call me a black sassy gay?
No, oh my god.
I actually went into my I've been deleting like pictures because I have like 4,000 plus pictures on my phone, and I'm actually good because I was up at 6,000, but I got them down like 2,000. And I found that picture of the dog smoking that I had saved
No
for
way.
like a reaction
That
picture.
is
So I just
so
thought that was
funny.
funny that you guys listed me as
So
that dog.
funny.
What were the pictures of?
Oh, me at different places
Oh, okay.
around the world, you know.
And
dog.
Nice.
In
You
Nice,
know,
yeah.
in Nice, yes. No, that was on my old phone. That was when I was on the Android.
That's the old me.
Yeah, I didn't go to Nice when I had the iPhone. That was the UK.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
In Paris, you know, darling.
Sorry, darling.
You know how I do. You know how I do, darling.
The
You know how I
charcuterie
do,
was
darling.
just divine.
You know how I do, darling.
Yeah. Yes.
So this discourse is about white friends. White friends.
How many of us have them?
them?
Yes!
White friends. Ones
we can depend on.
White
What's
friends. Ding, 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 ding. John? Are you
I
John,
don't-
girl?
Wait, I'm trying to. Can you guys do that again?
You
No.
older than
White
you
friends.
older than us. How you don't know that song? Friends? How
many of us have them?
It's okay.
Like,
We'll have like a Google search
What
afterwards.
is that?
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
God.
let's continue. So we're gonna
Yes.
talk about how the pros and cons of having friends that are white
Mm-hmm.
on the melanin challenge side.
And what made
Oh,
them
no.
worth having?
Right. Yeah.
So Renee.
So you know what's so funny is okay, this is perfect because I kind of had a talk with somebody this weekend who, like me, grew up. So in some like wealthy white areas, there are pockets of working class POC, and in our specific cases of working class Latinos, and that's kind of
Mhm.
strategic. So like because if you want to like pull from quote unquote the help or like cheap labor like that, that works out. So I talked about how. So when I was first living in Santa Monica, it took me a while to like have white friends because like I've probably said this on the show a million times, but I got like out loud the accusation that I was dirty or like whatever because I was Mexican. And it wasn't until college I remember I was doing like we were doing like an experiment in one of our biology classes, and like I want to say I was like 24 at this time, and one of my fellow students touched me when I was like using a beaker, and like it like shocked me. It was weird because I was like, whoa, she doesn't think I'm dirty. Like she doesn't. Yeah, it was really fucking weird. Like when I think about it, because it was like that was kind of the narrative that I had for a really long time. And so like there was a point where I started kind of quote unquote assimilating a bit, where I was like really self-hating, and I made a lot of white friends in Santa Monica eventually at some point, when we were older. And they weren't, I wouldn't say they were like, I don't know how to describe it. They weren't like in tune with racist issues, but a lot of the times they wouldn't say anything like incredibly bad because that would still, even though I was kind of like self-hating it, that would still piss me off. Mm-hmm. But it was like almost like a colorblind thing, though it wasn't. But like, we never really talked about race. We never like really like dealt with like my upbringing and how it was different from theirs in Santa Monica. Stuff like that. And then I remember going to school, becoming a different person, kind of getting the tools verbally that I needed to describe like what was going on, and then seeing that this had happened to like a lot of other people and like what it was like for other POC and how it was kind of a thing that, you know, all these things were not necessarily universal experiences because POC experience things in different ways, but how like it happens, like a lot of these experiences were things that happened to a lot of people. And I remember coming back, and I think it was a little jarring for a lot of them, for me to be kind of like this peacemaking, peaceful, like person of color, like, oh, like whatever, I don't care, like I don't see color type of thing, to like this really intense, like almost like radical, angry person. And I think a lot of like the ones that like really gave a shit about me were kind of trying to change their behavior, and were like being like, hey, I know you posted about this, I read that article and blah blah blah, and like we're kind of like catching on, but I think others like really don't care, and like we're kind of like distancing themselves because I seemed incredibly extreme to them. So I think right now, I think there are very, very, like a very select few white friends that I have made in the past like couple of years. Like you really, really have to convince me that you're kind of worth my time. I remember, so one of my friends was like, yeah, I don't have white friends whatsoever. And I was like, really? Nothing? I remember like this was several years ago, and I thought it was really extreme, and I was like, none? And then she was like, okay, well, I have like a handful, but like they're like the ones like, this is kind of like almost like a minimal thing, but like at protests that'll like get in the way of the cops and like volunteer themselves to be the ones that either are arrested or like a shield to kind of to back POC and POC issues. Like ones that are really, really going out of their way to kind of use their white privilege in a way that's like benefiting people of color in a way, which isn't always, you know, that's never going to be like a pure thing, but it's just like someone that like you're really putting your neck out on the line. Do you know what I'm saying? As much as you can as a white person. So I think yeah, right now I have it's a very, very few, unless like I've known you for a really long time and like you're just like one of those really good friends, but I only see you like every once in a while. Like I don't have like a like wide array of white friends. And it's like I think because in professional spaces, well, maybe not anymore, but before, maybe like a couple months ago in professional spaces, I was always like super sweet to everyone and super like, oh, I don't care, like let's just talk about fucking whatever show that we're watching or whatever, and like never bring up race, just because I know that once you bring up race, like it's gonna become a thing for me. Like I don't back down. But I think a lot of white people feel like they're able to come to me and say really fucked up shit because they assume because I'm quote unquote like peaceful all the time, which read like professional, I'm trying to keep my job, that they can come up to me and say fucked up shit and like I'll agree with them or something. And I've had several coworkers attempt to do that, and like they find that I'm not that person and like will refuse to speak to me after that. So yeah, it's just like I don't know, it's weird. I feel like being brought up in that space made me kind of come off as like really, I guess, quote unquote peaceful. I don't know what better way to say it, but like yeah, I come off as like, oh, someone who doesn't like really care about these issues, but because I can't fucking bring them up at work or wherever. Do you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, so that's, yeah, so the pros, I think I'd have to say that like when I see people that aren't all the way there are like putting in work to really inform themselves and to educate themselves about white privilege and like how they partake in it and perpetuate it, and really do the work to kind of unpack all that I get, but it happens so few and far between that it's like it's not something that it's a pro, but it's not like not everyone's doing it. So so yeah.
And what's worth it? I guess with the white friends that you do have, what's made it worth it for you?
I think there's a couple in particular, maybe like two that like really, really kind of were there for me, and like really when I was struggling to survive were like, holy shit, like let me use my privilege to like help you out in this situation. And like I think that to me was, I'm like, not only am I grateful as a friend, but I'm like seeing like you're using this privilege to actually do something and put action into these theories that you talk about all the time. So, but again, few and far between. But for those few, that's actually worth it for me.
Okay.
Do you want to go?
I will go next. Yeah. So cons. So growing up, I went from, I want to say like until elementary school, I was like, until like 6th grade, actually, I was like going to, majority, schools of color. Everyone was mostly Black or Latino. And like, I remember I had like a crew, and it was, and 3 of us were Black and 1 of us was Japanese. And like, that was my reality. You know what I mean? Like the random white kid was like, that was my reality, was like, there wasn't a white majority. And then I moved to Torrance and my whole like world changed. And like, suddenly there was everything but Black people. And the majority were like the Asian and the white kids. It was, for me, like, interacting with white people and having white friends was like a constant. I was actually like surprisingly militant when I was in these schools. And I don't know how I like maintained, well, you know, I know how I maintained it, because I was actually like reading about history outside of school, so I knew what was up to an extent. Like, I still didn't even know even half as much as I know now, but I like knew what was up. So like, but at the same time, you have to play the part, right? Because you have to like interact with people, and you have to have like some type of social interaction,
right?
And so I would do it. I would talk about it, and then I would just get like, oh, you talk about race too much, or oh, like you're just so obsessed with it, like you need to like let it go, and oh, you're gonna like find stuff like that if you know. I told you before like about like my teacher telling me that if I looked for racism, I would find it.
Well,
but I had
like,
but
so
yeah,
it's fucked up.
I had friends. I remember 2 of my friends, and we were sitting on the it was, I'll put them on blast. Brittany and Cynthia. And Cynthia is Mexican.
Faze is like, look, I'm calling you out.
Brittany is Mexican and Cynthia is white. And Cynthia is Mexican and Brittany is white. And it cracked me up because one day they told me, and these were my friends, right? They told me that Black people were more likely to steal. And that just was a fact. Now, the funny part about this was the 2 of them had been arrested for shoplifting at the Lamo Mall.
Lamo Mall.
Just put their records up there.
Yes, at the Urban Outfitters.
Oh no!
Lamo Mall, next to the AMC.
Oh my god!
And the funny part about that was they had both agreed that Black people just stole, but like, yeah, I was the only one there who had never been arrested for stealing.
Wow.
And so it just was, I mean, granted, I did have like a little klepto phase when I was a child. So, I mean, I guess it wasn't all the way wrong, but I just thought that was funny because I was like, by that point I had grown out of it, right? Like I had done that when I was like 6 and 7.
The old Baze can't come to the phone right now.
Why? Because she's dead.
She's in jail.
Sorry. I wish I could put the Oprah gift. Like, so what's the truth?
So, like, that was my experience. And then, you know, that was my experience in high school. Was like, I had these non-Black friends, and most of them were white. And, like, it was, like, interacting with these people and having a lot of these people put their assumptions on me. Like, I remember we were all in the car one day because I won't say any more names. I don't want to get too messy, but my friends was driving us, and they were like, "Oh, this is like Baze's music," and they turned it up, and it was like hip hop.
Baze's music. What song was playing?
I don't even remember. It was something.
No,
it was hip hop. I just remember it was hip hop. I just remember it was a rap song, and so
God,
like that was
a
like
white
my
chicks
experience,
moment.
and I like would laugh it off. I remember, God, this is so embarrassing. I remember even saying, "You can say the N-word" to one of my white friends. Yes, that was how like much I was straddling it, and it was weird because I was like on both ends. On one hand, I was like, you know, kill all the white people, Malcolm X, like, you know. But on the other hand, I was like, you know, like I was in the sunken place. I was giving you Ben Carson, you know what I mean? Like I was giving you Condoleezza Rice. I was giving you Steve Harvey.
Oh no!
And then if you're like in a white majority area, like this is the only way that you're gonna like maintain a social life or friendships.
Exactly. And so like, and even then I was still struggling with that, you know. So so I would say that the cons, I guess, have been like me having to like and even to this day, like especially when me and Mark go to like conventions and such, and like when we're interacting with like a lot of the white people in like fandom and stuff, and like science fiction fandom and fantasy fandom, is like putting myself like it's having to make, I mean, not to quote Chimamanda, but having to make yourself smaller to fit into these spaces, and having to tone yourself down so that you don't offend anyone by your existence, really.
Right.
And smiling, because, you know, when you don't smile, it's, you know, you're angry. Why are you so upset? You know, and I'm just talking to you in a normal voice, like in an even tone. And so it's just, that's the cons, I guess. It's just the constant, like, it's the same thing. It's like, it's not exactly the same thing, but it's similar to being gay and like constantly having to make yourself appear straight around straight people.
Dang,
it's just this. That's for the straight listeners out there.
No, yeah,
I mean,
no, at some point I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, this is for the white listeners, I meant to say. But, you know, that's the only equivalent I can really find. It's just the constantly having to tone yourself down so that you don't appear offensive to people. Or so that you don't feel like a stereotype, because sometimes people like that, right? So, like, one of the, and again, you know, y'all know me, I always have to bring up my travels, but one of the things about traveling was I was by myself a lot of the time, because me and my friend, like, kept getting into it when we were traveling. So I was frequently by myself, and I had to learn how to make friends. But one thing that I learned while I was making those friends is that as soon as I stopped being a show, as soon as I stopped being funny, I didn't exist anymore. And so, like, a lot of people want you, when you're black, they want you to be the life of the party. Like, you're supposed to, you're what's going to be turned. Like, you're going to make this party turn. You know what I mean? And as long as I was that way, and I was at first, because I was like, oh my God, like, I'm by myself and I'm in a different country, and like I'm surrounded by all these foreign people, like, that are not like, that are from other countries, that we're all tourists and we're having a good time. And I didn't recognize the expectation yet, because I was enjoying it. But when I got fatigued and I was like, you know what, I'm just kind of going to chill, or I'm just going to be cool, then it was like, you don't even exist. Like, getting people's attention was like difficult as shit. And it was the same people who I had just been partying with. Or if I had a moment when I wanted to laugh and joke and talk about something, then suddenly there was an interest in me and what I was doing. But I had to be the one to maintain that. So that's been my thing with like white spaces and having white friends. And I hesitate to really say friends a lot of times, is that just the limiting yourself. Another thing I will say is, I have a friend who's like a white twink, and going out in WeHo with them was very interesting, because you know, you get to watch white privilege work, basically.
Right.
Like it's
right in front of you.
Yeah, it's one thing when you don't, like, it's one thing to think about it theoretically, or like to like, you know, to see it from afar. And it's another thing when you're with the person and you guys are dancing and you're having a good time, and multiple people come up to them, multiple people buy them drinks, you know what I mean? And you can't even like make eye contact with anybody for longer than 2 seconds. And it was funny because we went to Rage, because I think I was like 22 and they were like 19 or something. Like like 18, 19. And so the only place we could go was Rage in West Hollywood. And I remember...
On Asian night?
Maybe. I mean, one of them, we went multiple times, so I'm sure there were, but it was usually Asian when I went there, so maybe it was. I don't know. Is it usually heavily Asian?
On
Or
Fridays.
is it just on Friday? Okay. Well then, I guess we kept going on Fridays then. But it was interesting because, just the attention that they were getting, and then like I was like walking around and I'm just like, bitch, like, where's everybody at? You know what I mean? Like, I got my tank top on, you know what I mean? Like, I did some extra push-ups before I came. My titties is out, you know what I mean? Like, and it was just like one of those things where I guess I thought like, and it's true, is like that your body saves you in a way. Like when you are black, having the right body type is your saving grace, really, in these situations. Yeah. And I expected to fall back on that, and it didn't work out because I was still black and it didn't matter.
Damn.
Not to say that doesn't matter in other situations. I'm just saying in this specific one, like, it did not.
Yeah.
My body didn't matter because I was black, and that was ultimately what was like the most important thing. And so like being in those situations, being around your white friends and seeing them getting like all this attention is so demoralizing. Being up in the Bay Area and like just seeing like the discrepancies between what you're getting and what other people are getting is just like, wow, like it really could and it's why I don't understand how like a lot of black people or just people of color in general hang out with only white people, because I feel like that would drive me up the fucking wall.
Yeah.
But there's the other side of that coin, and this is the pros. We can go into the pros. Is the way that white people treat you when you're surrounded by white people. And so it's not that you're necessarily white or an honorary white, but you get like a white stamp of approval. It's like somebody stamped on your forehead that you're like an acceptable Negro. And that's another side of the things I would say, especially while traveling. And that's why I always highly recommend to travel with white people if you're a person of color, because it helps a lot, especially if you're in Western countries.
But is there like a rent? Can we rent a white person?
Yeah, I mean, I wish you could rent a white person. They need to do that. They need to get an app for that. Get on this, San Francisco.
Download Rent a White now.
Yeah, that's the pro, is like people treat you much better when you're white. Like cops treat you better when you're with white people. Like people like walking down the street, like restaurants, like people just and that's the part where I do kind of get people hanging out with all white people, because it does change the way that people interact with you. So that's a pro. I do think that when you're with white people, your sexual capital does go up sometimes. In that particular situation that I just told, it did not, but I think that in a lot of other situations, it actually does. And, when I'm by myself, as opposed to when I'm with white people, I notice the way that people react to me, and it's a little bit different. Another, I guess it's what you said, Renee, is they're just shields. The pros of hanging out with white people is that they can be shields for you. And I guess part of it too is it kind of helps to remind me that white people are human beings when I'm hanging out with white people, because it's easy for me, especially because I love history so much. It's very easy for me to like hate white people and like hold that and be like, you are like the devil, you're not a person. Right. And when I have, and having white friends, because I didn't actually for quite a few years, I didn't have any white friends. Having white friends, I guess, gives me something like of hope, I guess, for the future, and like the fact that other white people can be not horrible people too. What's made it worth it, I guess, is interacting with people, again, and it's similar to what I just said, is just interacting with people and seeing that people can grow. And seeing that people can acknowledge like where they have, a leg up in life. Character development. Yeah. Like TV shows, in real life, I love character development. I love seeing people grow and become better people, better versions of themselves. And so getting to see like the white people that I am friends with now become better people is just, I don't know. And being friends with people that listen, people that validate you. Yeah. I was at a museum in Providence, and it was me, Mark, and a white friend. And as soon as we walked in, they were like on me. The security was on me. Oh, you're standing too close to the painting. Oh, like this. Oh, that, staring, talking into their things. So what I did was I got on Instagram, and I was like, and I put them in my video, and I was like, hi, like, I just wanted to let y'all know that, you know, I'm getting followed around this this museum by these crazy ass white people in Providence, Rhode Island. Like, girl, I've been in the Met, I've been in the Boston Museum. Like, bitch, don't nobody want nothing from your little museum, okay? Like, the collection is okay, I guess. I just was like, I just was being my extra ass self. But when it was all said and, but like, I'll say her name, Olivia, who's my white friend. She at no point told me to calm down or stop. And after we left, she, you know, she just listened and she believed me.
Yeah.
And that means so much when somebody doesn't have your experience, because people who don't understand your experience are so frequently downplay it. Oh, well, maybe it was this. Maybe it was that.
Right.
You know, when people stare at you, oh, well, maybe they're just staring at you because they like your clothes. Or maybe they're just staring at you because they think you're pretty. Or maybe, you know, like, usually when you have these weird interactions with white people, the first thing that the white people that you have around you do is try to deflect it away from racism frequently. Yeah. And so when somebody just is like, wow, that sucks, I believe you, move on. It's not that they deserve a cookie, but it just feels good, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? So that's my piece.
Do you want me to go next, John, or do you want to go?
I think I feel comfortable enough going now.
Okay, go ahead.
So, man, there were so many good points. I felt like I should have wrote some of what you were saying down, Baze. But I was going to say, I think I approach, and I'm going to get, I guess, intersectional with it, is when I approach white friends or white people in general, I sort of approach them like I do cis hetero people. Like, I don't know if I'm safe yet. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I always approach with caution. I'm not like I don't let my guard down until I know. Like, there's always some sort of litmus test that just happens when I look at them to react at their reaction and see, like, is this an okay person to hang out with? Like, for example, like if I'm in straight spaces and something like homophobic happens in front of us, I'll like look to them and see, like, are they going to say, whoa, that was fucked up? Or are they going to go with it? And so that's when I know, like, if that person's okay with or to hang out with. And so I sort of do the same with white folks, is like, if there's some sort of like low-key racism that happens in front of me, I look to see how they would react. And I think it's really, I think now what's happening lately, like the social climate, if my white friends aren't reacting the way I feel like they should be, then I kind of sort of distance myself from a lot of them. Like, if none of my white friends are taking any of the emotional labor that I wish they would, then I'm sort of like making up my mind already that this isn't going to last very long, like our friendship. And unfortunately, that's what happens now, with what's happening, and it's kind of unfortunate that's how I'm making my decisions, but I don't really know how else to do it anymore. Shit, I lost my train of thought. But I think what you were saying with the pros is you do get to see some character development, and I think having some friends white friends let you see how they navigate the world, and like, just, I don't know, riding shotgun with them and like seeing how they can do it more easily in some spaces. It's interesting to see that. But for cons, I think, and I was just going through, when you were talking about white friends, I was just going through my phone and seeing, like, if I had texted anybody recently that's white, and I like had to scroll down twice to find someone white on my contact list. I'm gonna do that now. I was like, how many white friends do I have? So I went through my phone, and I was like scrolling twice. I was like, oh, there's a white friend. Yeah, I think the cons is that sometimes, and it's just like I was saying earlier with straight friends, is that I have to put a little more labor into it, or sometimes I have to be a little more guarded. And I don't know if that's worth the work anymore, like the mental stress and anxiety. Like, are you going to say something racist right now? Like, it's always like, I don't, like when I'm hanging out with my QPOC friends, I don't have to think about that. Like, I can just relax, you know? I don't have to question anything. There's nothing. Yeah, I just feel more at ease. But when I'm with my white friends, sometimes I feel like I have to question what's going on in their mind, you know, unless proven otherwise, which unfortunately is not a good. I don't like to do that to my friends, but I think right now, especially with what's happening, I feel like that's what I have to do. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Sorry, it makes total sense.
No,
Sorry.
are you done?
No, it's like, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't want to cut you off. I'm more so going to talk about like my experiences, like other than like pros and cons. But it's something that's like really, I was going to say near and dear to my heart, but it's something
to my heart.
It's something that I've had a lot of experience with because I've talked about before how I was bullied, and when I was younger, I was bullied by a lot of Black kids, and so because of that, it made me really self-hating, and it made me not like or not feel comfortable around Black people, like around my family and around people at school. So when I went to public school finally, I actually hung out with a lot of Asian friends, and I know it's about white friends, but I'll tie it back. And it was, I had a lot of Korean friends, and a lot of them did a lot of stuff based on like you were saying about kind of how like, oh, well, you know, you should shuck and jive and like, you know, and tap dance for watermelon slices and like all of this other shit. And it was kind of like, I went with it because they were people who at the time like quote accepted me, and they showed me they gave me attention, even though looking back it was the wrong kind of attention. It was the first time that I really thought that I felt accepted by like a group of people, even though it came at the expense of, you know, like all these microaggressions and that kind of thing. Like, and at the time too, and I also think it's important to point out that for me specifically, I didn't have like the language or the knowledge that I did now. I didn't know what a microaggression was. So like so like it felt off, but I like just kind of brushed it off, and then people would be like, oh, like it's not a big deal. And then sometimes like it got to a point where I didn't really care, and I just expected that was something that would come up. And then also it got to a point where I started to believe some of that shit too. So, so when I kind of actually got friends, for the first time, and I stopped sitting next to people and laughing at their stories, I
forgot about that.
I can't get over that story.
There are so many people that have actually like talked to me in real life, and they'd be like, did you really do that? That's sad. And I'm like, thanks, asshole. Anyway, so after that, like when I got to college, I lived with a Republican every single year of college, and I had no, like, I didn't, and there was all these microaggressions that would come up. Like I remember once, like, he was talking about how, or not even microaggressions, but just shit that I was just so confused by. Like, I remember once he said that his parents gave him a choice of either getting his loans paid off when he graduates or getting a new car. And he was like, oh, I'm going to choose the car because I'll be able to pay my loans off myself in like a year at my parents' company and shit like that. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, you know, and I would just hear him talk about like all these political issues, but like in these really crazy Republican terms that I didn't understand at the time, and it made me feel stupid because of it. And I would explain like, I don't know this stuff like for socioeconomic reasons. Like I don't know this because of where I grew up, and where I grew up is like a byproduct of this and whatever. And I was made to feel dumb a lot of the times in these conversations in this really like nuanced way, because I didn't know stuff that I didn't have access to, the stuff that like they had access to. And so they would always make me feel like I was stupid or that my opinion wasn't valid because of that. And I remember things kind of, came to a fever pitch which is one of my favorite phrases, but I love when people put that in writing. when I remember
that's when a top has a fever.
What?
Okay. I said that's when a top has a fever.
Oh, a fever pitch. Shut the I hate you. Wow. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, okay. So it came to a fever pitch when I remember Trayvon Martin died, and I actually wanted to do a podcast a long time ago in college, and even then, oh my God, this is so cringeworthy. It was called Black and Wit. And like, cause it was me and my other friend, and he's white, and so I was like, "Oh, that's a witty thing."
Oh, wit.
It's not. It's garbage.
Like
it
black
isn't.
and white. Black
It's
and
trash. It's trash. That's actually.
It's okay. We've grown.
Yeah,
that was the LDU.
That's actually the SoundCloud account that I use is like the account for that thing because yeah, like it's like none of the episodes are on there, but like it's trash. But I remember I said I wanted to talk about race, and he acted like I said, you know, I'm going to shoot your grandma in the face tomorrow. Like, he was just like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want it. Like, literally like that. And I was like, whoa. Yikes. I never had, like, because I've mentioned it before on earlier episodes, but Trayvon Martin dying was, like, the thing that kind of propelled me into kind of realizing a lot of stuff. So, I was going through this while living, like, with this white Republican dude, and he was just showing me his ass, like, when it came down to this stuff. And I remember sitting and having a conversation with him about why that made him feel uncomfortable, because I was actually really interested in hearing why. And he was just like, you know, the race card and like, why can't, and just stereotypical stuff that you hear all the time now. Like, well, why don't we have a white entertainment television? And at the time, like, I always look back and I'm upset with myself because I wasn't educated enough or well versed in this to be able to, combat his points. So, like, I wasn't able to be like, well, because you have NBC, ABC, you know, TNT, FX. Like, I wasn't able to, HBO. Like, I wasn't able to say all that stuff because I didn't think about it. And I was like, oh, like, you might be right. Like, and it was just, I had to live with that every single day. But then I also had to deal with, like, you know, I remember his girlfriend came to visit and I was driving.
He was straight too?
Yeah, he was straight and Christian. And I remember, like, driving them somewhere, and his girlfriend said something like, oh, like, this is, like, to my car because it was broken at the time. She's like, oh, like, this is ghetto. And I was like, you can walk. Like, and then they got into an argument, and he was like, well, you shouldn't talk to your girlfriend like that. And I'm like, well, she needs to know that I pay rent in this bitch, and she doesn't. So she can't talk to me like that. So I don't care if y'all got into an argument. And then that was kind of like the first time where I realized, like, some of these people don't have your back, like, period. Like, no matter, like, they don't care about you outside of you being able to entertain them and that kind of thing. So now, I would say it's not that I, like, don't have white friends. It's just that all the white friends that I had were byproducts of having, like, a certain white person in my life. And now that person's not in my life, like, all my white friends are kind of, like, dispersed everywhere. And the white people that I choose to have in my life are people that I actually do trust. And the thing is, I have these white friends knowing that they're probably going to say something that's fucked up and they don't get everything. I'm fully aware of that. Like, I don't expect them to, like, not say anything fucked up, but what I do expect them to do is learn from the fuck ups. Like, and I think that's kind of where I'm at with my friends in general. Like, I know that people are going to say fucked up shit and do fucked up things. I don't expect anyone to be perfect, period. But what I do care about is your willingness to learn and your willingness to say, like, oh, well, I don't understand. Like, I remember once I was in the car with someone, a white friend of mine, and I was saying how, in my opinion, at that time, that gay marriage is a white gay issue. And it's nothing I really care about at the moment, because it's like, once that happened, where did all, like, the support for the gay movement go? Like, all the white, and you see it, I've said it like 3 times, donations to LGBT centers and whatnot, like, from donations where a lot of rich white people were the ones giving them, stopped doing them because that's what they wanted. But there's so many other issues that affect, like, you know, gay people of color or, like, queer people of color. And so, you know, we were talking about it and he got really upset with me. Like, well, people died and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, I realize that people died, but you have to understand that for someone like me, like, yes, I can get married, but who am I going to get married to? Because people are still calling me niggers on apps. Like, people are still, people people that look like me.
I'm telling you, you're too dark.
Yeah, people
even within your own race.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, saying like big black cock or whatever. Oh, I can't believe I said that. But like saying stuff like that. Ew. Shabam. Wow. So it's stuff like that. So after that conversation, I kind of lost respect for that person because I was expecting them to be like, well, I get where you're coming from, but they were really upset that I said that. And I was like, you have to understand where I'm coming from. This is where like identities intersect. Like I said, I get what you're talking about. I get it. And I get why you're upset. But you don't understand why I'm upset, and that's the issue here. Like, and that's where I have the problem. So I don't have any problem with making white friends or whatever, and I'm not gonna like say all white people need to burn. I don't think that they should be in offices. I think life would then be a lot better. But but like if I do make friends with you, I really do need you to be on like willing to realize that you're not going to be right all the time, and in that vein, I know this is like false equivalency, but I'm going to do the same thing for you where I know I'm going to fuck up too, but when it comes to race stuff, like you need to know that like I'm going to be right and you're not going to be, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, so I agree
with that. Rakeem, I was going to ask you guys, what is your like, so you said someone that you can trust. What else would qualify or like help someone who's white be your friend? Like, what is your litmus test?
Oh, well, I don't want to say that on the show because then they'll know. Like,
oh, that's true.
Like, it's like the thing is, I have no problem with someone just messaging me or coming up to me, and like I interact with white people all the time. Like I have white friends that I love dearly.
Right.
There are certain keywords and phrases that I look for that if they, and it's not like I'm going to give them a certain amount of time. It's just, I know in the back of my head that if I hear something like this, it's probably a red flag. Like,
yeah.
So,
for me,
that's a good point.
I will say for me, it's like, you usually know within like the first like 10 minutes of speaking with them. Like, honestly, especially if it's a white gay, you usually know very quickly from interacting with them how your interactions with them are going to be in the future, because the ones that cannot help but to make your race like a thing are going to do it as soon as they meet you.
That is so
like,
true.
You remember do we all remember Pride?
That's so, yeah, I still, my blood boils over that still, for sure.
When this white group of white gays came up to us and we were like having a good time and we were all drinking and we were all laughing and, and we were saying hi to them and they were saying hi to us, and one of them was
being
like,
friendly.
Where did you get your tan?
Right.
Oh,
and like, I had
base.
just met him. Or we can all talk about the time that we ran into the guy one of the white gays I went to high school with, and he asked John if his last name was, what did he ask you?
He confused me for some other Asian.
No, he asked if you
he
were
asked
Japanese.
you if you're
yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Korean, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said that all the other Johns that we went to high school with were Korean.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I do, yeah. And so, yeah, exactly. And so that is sort of you're right. Some people just can't help but put themselves out there.
Yeah.
And that's sort of your red flag.
I mean, that's kind of a good thing, though, right? Because it's just like...
You did all the work for me.
Right.
Just one last anecdote. I was here in New York and I was visiting a friend, and he has a lot of white friends. He's a very nice... So the friend is a brown, but he has a lot of white friends. And we were hanging out with one of them, and he like started doing his little black accent thing when he was talking to me, and I was like, "Oh, girl." But then it reached like the apex when he what did he say?
Ooh, you guys in your apex and fever pitch.
I was about to say he's using my favorite words today.
He said we were talking about different types of buses, like Bolt bus or or whatever, like buses that take you to like different cities or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said that the Chinese ones were bad because Chinese people don't know how to drive.
What?
Wow.
And he laughed, and it was funny because you guys have all met Tommy. So it was me, Mark, Tommy, and then her friend, and none of us laughed. We all just like looked at each other and then just ignored him for the rest of the time. And he eventually left the room and went to go find our other friend.
Got it.
Yeah, we froze him out. We were like, we're not talking to you anymore.
Yeah.
But, especially with white gays, like I find that it's very easy to tell whether I'm going to ever talk to you again.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's my litmus test. If you can't go like 10 minutes to like an hour without saying something overtly racist, then we don't need to have any interactions unless you're gonna like do something for my career or give me some money or like give me an endorsement deal or something, or you're gonna give me like a hookup with Tummy Tea on Instagram. Like, unless you're gonna do any of these other
Tummy
things.
Tea.
Yes, Tummy Tea, if you're going to photograph me and give me some followers, I don't really see any need in having you in my life.
I will say this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you can go.
I was going to say that the litmus test for me is honestly kind of complicated. Because there's a lot of fucked up shit that I associate with white folks that are woke.
Ugh.
So
I was about to get into that.
Yeah.
Because they're learning the language.
Well, let's
now,
not
like,
get
what?
too into it. I just would say, just for time's sake.
Yeah, we have 40 seconds.
Sure. Go and talk,
so
talk.
like I'm gonna share like two different instances. Like one of the white friends that I had before, I remember I did like 5 years ago. I got into an argument with her over affirmative action, and she was talking. This is a white woman, and she was talking about how she didn't believe affirmative action should exist, and that I should be proud that I got into Berkeley because I got it on my own merit and not because it was handed to me because of my race. But she was into affirmative action for women. So it was just kind of like it's like they get like their own personal struggles, but then when it comes to like the struggles that you're facing or other marginalized communities, it's just like all of a sudden it's like, wait, you're asking for too much. That's a lot. But I talked to her recently, like a year ago, and she's like, hey, Renee, like, remember that argument we had? Like, I've been like doing my studying, Lola, and like I get what you're saying now, and like I'm sorry. Wow. Yeah, and so like that, like I get. There's also another instance though where like, okay, so I went on a whatever. I went on a date with a white person recently.
Mm-hmm. And like whatever, no big deal.
like I said, I find in LA, I have a hard time people of color actually wanting to take me seriously in relationships. So it's usually white people. So I mean, I don't enter them anyway, obviously. But yeah, I was on a date with this white person, and he was like talking about like we were like having a good time. Like he was actually like he's actually a good guy, I think. But like at one point he was saying like, oh yeah, and white people were the worst. Like we're the worst. We do this, and it started like kind of bringing back the stuff with like my ex, and now he like kind of like bullshit out like, oh, like I'm not like them. I'm this person.
They're like show ponying or something.
Right.
When they talk about whiteness as if it's like a detached from them, like oh yes, white people.
Right, and then it felt kind of like fuck. Like as soon as he did that, like it was just done for me. Like he was super sweet like the rest of the night, but like for me it was just like fuck. I was just really uncomfortable at the time because I was just like, fuck, like this is gonna happen to me again. Like everything that I went through before is like just repeating again.
Oh my god, John, you can't just tell people that they're white.
Oh my god, Karen.
I have a friend who did sort of the same thing, was like shitting on white people.
Right.
And he was like, oh damn, I look like such a dork today. I look like a white person. I was like, yeah, because you're white.
You are.
No matter what you do, you'll be a white person.
Right. Yeah, I mean, at the like I said, at the moment, I was just like, "Fuck!" Like I'm back. Oh my god, I almost said his name. I'm back with X again. Like this is the same fucking cycle. So I don't know. The litmus test for me is weird because for some people it feels genuine. Like okay, like there's character development and there's growth, and for other people, it's like all these buzzwords because you've like picked them up from your POC friends and because you have a preference for people of color. So, I don't know. It's kind of complicated for me.
That makes me think of the Tumblr post. White people be like, but the white people who be like, they're the white people.
Yeah,
like white people.
White people reblog that.
Yes. Oh my god. Because remember there was some white gay who was like, white gays be like, and it was like a picture of him, but like he edited it so it looked like two different like twins or whatever, and so it was like a joke about white gays dating other gays that look exactly like them. Yeah.
Oh, he just flipped the picture. I was like,
sorry, I couldn't think of how to like say it.
He just flipped the. I was like, oh fuck. But yeah, all I'll say is really quickly is the one of the things that I do look for is if I hear the word Reddit, I run. I'm like, nope, that's it. That's a
If I hear woke, I run.
I honestly I do that for more than white people. I just
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, okay. Well, that's going to be our Discord. Whoa.
Well, can we end it with like what we would like? Well, here's what I was going to say. I was going to say what
you
I
can end it
appreciate
because it's 50 minutes.
Okay. From some of I have a white friend who posts or who said how much they listen to our podcast, and they were saying that it's sort of like different from because they don't get a chance to hear other people of color's experiences, and they were calling out their other white friends and like, hey, listen to this podcast because here's the experiences of people of color. And if I can like quote Renee again, is that we don't need allies, we need accomplices. And one of the things you can do, white people, is call out other white people, because we've done most of the work for so long that we're just so tired. And even if we do call someone out, it's not going to be this. It's not going to mean the same as if you do it, because you're a white person. So they're more likely going to listen to you. Like other white people will listen to you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what I would want from my white friends, and I think the white friends I do have now are willing to do that, and so I really value that.
So I guess the theme of today is that we here at Podcast of Color stand character development.
We stand growth.
Yes, and growth.
And actual character development, and not just for theater, not ally theater.
Oh yes, not the fakeness, not performance art.
Oh.
All right. So that's gonna be the discourse. We're gonna be back.
Male of color, Father God. Boom, 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 boom. Hello. I'm getting so good at that. Beza shook. Welcome back, everybody.
Wait, actually, that was you?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like the stars here.
No, I'm shook. I thought that was Baze.
Is Baze here? Hello?
I am here.
Oh, okay. I was just directing that towards you, so I just wanted to be sure that you heard it.
Hello to all our listeners out there.
Wow. Ignored.
We last week begged you guys to write into us, and I guess that's what we have to do from now on, because
it worked.
Never mind. I was gonna make a really dirty joke, but I should
make it.
Now you got to do it.
I was just gonna say that our inbox got gangbanged.
John was like, "Yes."
I'm renaming my butt inbox.
Y'all dropped a few emails in our inbox. If you know what I mean. So we got here Dylan. He is he/him pronouns. He
pronouns.
asks, "Oh, me? If
you fake bitch, you saw it. You knew that it said the email thing says lighthearted question for Baze. Bitch, you knew it was for you. You self-centered lying ass snake.
Oh, wow! This attack on my character and my reputation.
Not this Taylor Swift promo.
Yeah. Did you say this attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan. I would like to be removed from this name.
Wow.
So he asked if I bleach my own hair and how do I get it so platinum. Currently it is only platinum on the ends because I fucked up last time I bleached it and it came out like more of an orange. But what I tend to do is, because my hair is so dark, some people can get away with 30 developer. I tend to use a 40 developer, and I should have used it in the first place so I would still have the rest of my hair if I had. I just use a 40 developer with powdered bleach, and then I tone it with purple toner. I tend to go for like for a silver, like platinum, but it usually turns out more white. It maybe looks more silver in pictures. But yeah, so I use the purple toner, and then I just continuously use purple conditioner. I wash it with I like co-wash with purple conditioner every day.
Babe, you should be a beauty YouTuber, because that I was actually kind of entranced by you were talking.
Yes, well, I use Wella Color Charm for the toning.
Yeah, the camera's probably making it distorted, and I know the lights are there, but you can see it.
Did you see that girl that used the nugget to put her makeup on?
A chicken nugget?
Yeah.
That's everything.
That's a waste of a nugget.
These MUAs are getting crazy. What'd you say, Renee?
That's a waste of a nugget.
I'm sure she ate it after.
Hot.
So this person says, "Hi, hello, why yes, it's me, the young sis who united Rakeem and Bays on Tumblr. If y'all consider yourselves the trash bags of color, I guess I'm the trash compactor of color."
Oh my god.
This is Darian, aka Queer Nigga on Tumblr.
Hi, Daddy.
Oh my god. Hi.
Serious question. I work in academia, which is largely a white space, and I often grapple with the tension between devoting my time and energy into either trying to transform the space into something more habitable for QTPOC, who are here after I leave, or just focusing my energies on my own career path and doing what I want to do and surviving, snatching opportunities. Straight white people don't have to consider being on some diverse committee. They don't have to make a choice between A, making their workspace a better place, but suffer a huge time suck that might hurt their career prospects long term, or B, not be on such committee and instead focus on their own projects, but have the department be an oppressive, microaggressive hellscape because nobody is actively working to make it better. Have any of y'all had to deal with this before? It seems like there isn't a way to win. What have you done in this situation? Yes. So I guess the only thing I can say, I haven't really been anything on that to that degree, but I worked on a documentary, a school documentary, and I had to fight for the story to really be about, to not be a fluff piece, basically, because we were making treatments out of the history department's papers on whatever the subject was, the paper was on. And we had to do one about women in Hollywood. I did a treatment off of women in Hollywood. And our group based our documentary off of the treatment that I wrote. What ended up happening is a lot of the footage that we got and a lot of what it leaned towards was, this is going to be a thing of, it's going to be about fluff, it's going to be a fluff piece, basically. It's going to be about makeup. It's going to be about hair. And I was like, well, it can be about that, but we really need to talk about statistics. We need to talk about facts. We need to talk about what women were doing in Hollywood at the time and how women had more opportunities at the time and how women have gotten more opportunities. Fewer opportunities as time has gone on. And then I was also like, but we also need to touch on women of color. And there was a huge resistance to focusing on women of color. The most I could do was get women of color mentioned, but not really have a push for let's talk about the specific experiences of women of color. So, for me, it just was important in that class, I guess, to push, for as much as I could, because I think that if you feel like you have the ability to fight, I think that you should, because we do, after all, have our forebears to thank for the quality of life that we have now.
Right.
And so if you feel like you are capable of it, I think you should try to make things better for the people that are coming after you.
Yeah.
Okay, forebearers.
Yeah. And it's also a privilege to be in a space where your opinion is asked, because sometimes they won't even ask other people. So I think taking advantage of that privilege and using your voice is sort of a rare opportunity. So I would recommend doing that. But also that comes with the con of being tokenized sometimes. Sometimes I'm in spaces where I'll just say my work, for example. It's most of upper management is basically white. And so when I feel sometimes when they ask me questions, I sort of question why are you asking me specifically about this? Or is this an issue that you think I can give you a good answer, or are you just asking me because I'm a person of color? So I guess just to be aware of that if you decide to go forward.
Yeah, I deal with that a lot too. Actually, almost every day. An example I can give is recently we I was trying to introduce a project to get more like younger POC artists to be able to display in a gallery space. And I had wrote this like press release and like some verbiage for it. And I had said literally all the sentence was that, you know, this isn't, this aims to like include artists of all races, races, genders, or something like that. And immediately there was pushback from like 3 to 4 people. And I had to sit there and be like, what the fuck? Like, do I sit here and go off and like potentially, I wouldn't lose my job, but like work in a hostile work environment when I have to work with these people? Or do I like shut up and, you know, not put it in when it's, you know, potentially helpful for other people? So I think you really kind of have to just navigate what works at the time. Like if that even means like faking like you're going along with something, which is what I did and just did it anyway after. Like if you just have to like fake that, then just do that. But I would say try to work from your conscience the best you can, unless it's going to like lose you money and like literally lose your job, because that's survival at the end of the day. Like
no, definitely.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, at the end, like we say all this stuff and we say that you should act like this, but there are certain, or not should, but you know, these are things that you should be doing or could be doing. But at the end of the day, like we all have to pay bills, and I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna lose my job and like lose my source of income and not have any money because I want to feel good because I said something in a meeting. Like that's not then what?
You can't eat principles.
Exactly.
Woo.
Like so, like I understand that sometimes like you have to sometimes swallow what you want to say in order to put food in your belly. So I get it. What?
Nothing. I was going to say something dirty, but never mind.
Girl, okay. Were you going to say they put dick in your ass or something?
No, you said swallow, and I was like, no, sometimes I do swallow. Never mind.
Anyway,
wow. Okay.
Darian goes on to say that he doesn't want to go on too long, so he just gives us honey roasts us with words. So for John, he says genial. For Renee, and he definitely included the accent.
Whoa.
He said piquaint. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to look that one
Google's
up.
right now.
For base, oh wow, that's a long ass word. Poultritudinous.
Ooh.
That's girl.
Okay, academia.
I'm through. And Rakeem coruscating.
Which I actually know what that means.
What does it
You're
mean?
so coruscating. That's true.
When you emanate light.
Oh, mine's better be good too, bitch. So I'm only gonna read one more. But we do appreciate you guys writing into us.
We'll get them next week.
Please, yes, and please
Thank you,
continue
Darren.
to write into us. Yeah. Anyway, so my name is Joaquin. And I started listening to your podcast about 3 weeks ago, and it has uplifted my days and my commute to work.
Oh,
Now my commute is filled with laughing and self-reflection. I appreciate you all for putting the time and effort to put this together. I want to shout out John.
Ooh.
It was cool meeting you for like a moment at the Janet Mock Q&A at the LA Public Library.
yes.
I liked how I knew it was you because of your voice. Wish we could have talked more, but we were both preoccupied by magical Janet.
Oh my god, I told you guys. When someone recognized me, I was like, oh my god, we're here to see Janet. And then I felt kind of...
Girl, we believed you. He was like,
Yeah,
I wasn't lying, see?
I
want to honey roast all of you by saying you are all so beautiful and courageous to be so vulnerable with your audience. It has really created space for me and others to be open with close ones and have those hard conversations. I admire all of you and the friendship you have with each other. Continue being fabulous and resilient people. Thank you, Joaquin.
Well, that was so sweet. It was really nice meeting you too. Thanks for saying hi.
Kind words. Yeah, so thank you guys. Thank you, Darian, aka Queer Nigga,
AKA
on
Daddy.
Tumblr.
Oh!
Why y'all gotta make this nasty?
Wait, give...
It's
Why
not
can't we just be pure?
it's not
Why
nasty.
can't this be pure? Why you always have to be sexual with other gays? Why can't gays... We teach gays to be sexual with each other. We teach gays that they cannot be friends with each other without sticking their body parts inside of each other.
Maybe I don't want to. Are you slut shaming me?
Oh.
We teach gays to be sluts and nasty skeezers. I'm just kidding. Okay,
So yes, we will definitely get to the rest of you guys' emails in the following weeks. Hopefully next week, to be honest. Also, just please keep writing into us.
Yeah,
because
please.
We like having things to read, and we like hearing from you guys. It makes us feel. It makes us feel like we're not just screaming into the void, and
internally
it just
screaming.
gives us. It gives us a little something, It gives us a little boost. My week is a little bit better when I get to hear from y'all. Just knowing that they was there. So, anyhow,
okay, that was like low-key a breakdown. He was like, please just send us the fucking letters.
Just send us. No, because I know now that we have to beg you guys to write into us, and that's what gets it done.
We're beggars
so now
of color.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to have a mental breakdown on every episode.
After we record, he goes, it's handled.
I put on my shades, put on my wig, my new fresh wig,
and your nice coat and walking gloves.
Yes, her walk is everything. Somebody put Kerry Washington onto a runway, please. That walk.
Yes.
So Rakim, I was gonna say Renee. Rakim, do you want to do our outro?
Yeah. So thank you guys again for listening. If you want to send us an email like Baze was saying, or actually send us a fucking email, send it to podcastofcolor@gmail.com. Our Twitter is trashofcolor. Again, we love talking to y'all on there. And sometimes I'll go through and I'll search to see what y'all have said about the show, and I'll notice things that have been said and I haven't noticed it yet. So that's really neat. Everything else is at Podcast of Color. We post the episodes on Tumblr and Twitter. And it's on, what's that called? Google Play and Stitcher and all that, and SoundCloud. So
YouTube.
And lastly, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Pride.com. I know I said it last week, but I didn't actually get to say it now. It's out. Like, the thing that John and I did for them. It's on my Instagram. It's on the podcast Instagram. Thank you guys for all the comments and the lovely comments. We were, well, not me, but like, I know John was like really hesitant about it. So thank you guys for being really nice and like being encouraging. And thank you, John, for doing it. I love you.
Thank you for making me feel pretty.
Thank you for being a friend.
John, you don't get to talk about
the biggest.
John doesn't get to talk about any.
Wait, what?
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. You're stupid.